Welcome to the TEFL Training Institute podcast, the bite-sized TEFL podcast for teachers, trainers, and managers.
So Tracy, how long have you been a teacher for?
More than 10 years.
Okay, and in that time then, what has helped you to develop the most?
When I was a brand new teacher, I started in a public school. So my mentor there gave me a lot of hands-on information and I observed a lot of classes. So I think that was really important for me to be able to survive in the new job.
And after you could survive, what helped you to develop more then?
I think I did self-reflection journal for a little while, just told myself what the class went well and what didn't work and why it happened. But it didn't last very long because, you have a lot of extra work. So you just kind of give up after a while. And then I took diploma. That almost 1 year course gave me an opportunity to look into different aspects of teaching. And now I'm doing the admin course. These opportunities definitely helped me develop.
Okay. So isn't it funny how that's what you said helped you develop as a teacher? But usually teacher development, what does it usually mean?
Just people go to training, like 1 or 2 hours training.
Yeah, but of all the things you said, none of them were actually going to any 1 hour trainings.
That's interesting. Yeah, we always encourage people to go to training, but we look at ourselves and how we developed. Nothing really related to that.
Yeah, maybe not. There's actually a good quote from Richards and Lockhart, and they say that in-service workshops designed to improve teaching skills often have only short-term effects and rarely involve teachers in an ongoing process of examining their teaching.
Does it mean the workshops or some training sessions only aim the short-term goals?
I don't think it's that they only aim for a short-term goal, but I think often if you have like a 1 hour training on differentiation or something, and then the next week all your teachers go away and do differentiation for a week, right? And then the next week, like you've got something on something else, and then people forget about differentiation.
Yeah,
so
I think that's happened a lot. Yeah,
what they're saying is that's short-term, and you really need something that's more long-term. So today we've got 3 questions. The first question is,
what's the difference between teacher training and teacher development? Secondly,
what are some of the different options available to teachers to develop? And finally,
what motivates teachers to develop? So, Ross, what's the difference between teacher training and teacher development? Because I think these 2 terms sound so similar.
So I think you can say that training is a hyponym for professional development, not a synonym. A chair is a hyponym of furniture. Professional development, it's like an umbrella term that covers lots and lots of different things. One of the things underneath is teacher training, but it's definitely not the only option.
Yeah, I like to use the analogy of the train journey. So we start from one place and to another place. So the training development is a long journey. You really don't know how long it's going to take, or even you don't know where you want to go eventually. But the teacher training is like the different train stations in between. So you get to place A or place B and you achieve something, then you keep going on.
I like that analogy and with the stations. I don't think when people go to training, it necessarily means that they're moving forward, does it? You're kind of stopped and you're in a situation where you're in a room with no students. For me, like the time that people actually improve is when they're in the classroom doing things for the first time.
Yeah, it's interesting.
For the first time.
Actually, you mentioned it now, just make me think about these terms even more. Like training, you think is more focused on the actions, and development is maybe more focused on the ultimate outcome.
So Tracy, what are some of the different options for teachers to develop?
I would say there are 2 big categories. One is the social options and another one is autonomous options.
So let me guess, autonomous options are things that you can do by yourself, completely alone, and the social options are ones that you need to work with your peers or your organization?
Yeah, or maybe join a study group.
So will we start off with the autonomous one? Tell us what some of those are.
Okay. I think you've already mentioned some of them earlier, like taking journals, doing self-reflection, taking a course by themselves, or maybe just watch a video.
What kind of video? Like Terminator 3 or?
The video extract of the classes.
Oh, okay.
About their own teaching. And of course, people can read books or journals.
For me, one of the more interesting things I did, which was autonomous, was doing action research. Although I did do that as part of a course. So
I think it's quite challenging though, because teachers feel, which topic I need to choose, and there's a lack of guidance. I think the autonomous options why they are quite challenging, because people feel like, oh, I'm throwing into the swimming pool and then myself just learn how to swim and I don't know how to do it.
So what about some social options?
The really simple one, you do team teach, and
So first of all, what's team teaching?
you can talk to one of your colleague and you do lesson preparation together, and you can decide which part of the lesson you're going to teach, or two people are going to teach the class at the same time.
So imagine I'm a new teacher and I go and observe your class and I see you correcting an error. It's maybe then 3 hours before I get to try it out in my own class. It's quite a long time between me seeing the thing and trying it out. And then if I try it and it doesn't work, then maybe I have to wait another week before I can watch you do it again. But if you're team teaching with someone and I see you correct an error, then 2 minutes later I can correct an error, so that the period between observing it and doing it and getting feedback is really, really short, right? It's a matter of minutes. Whereas if you're observing someone else, then it could be days or weeks.
Yeah.
And the same if it's on
about it.
yeah, or the same if it's on a teacher training course, or you go to a 1 hour workshop on something and someone gives you input. It might be a week before you get to try it. What about peer observation? Did you ever do much peer observation?
Yeah, I did. I was just given the task by my manager when I was a teacher, and then gave me observation tools, and I have to pick up the one that I want to focus on and then do the observations. I think it was quite good, but the problem is because we are peers, right? And I feel like when I'm trying to give feedback to the teacher, maybe I wasn't sure how to give the feedback to the teacher. So there's always like bad communication during the post-feedback chat.
Because people are so used to being observed by their manager, and then their manager comes in and criticizes them afterwards, that everyone assumes that once you observe someone, you have to tell them all the things that they did wrong. Whereas I think peer observation should be more about the observer learning than it should be about the person who's being observed. Because no one's going to invite you back, right? If you're like, oh, come and observe my class, and afterwards you're like, well, you did a bad job of this and this was terrible, then they're not going to want you to come back.
It's funny, like just look at the two different categories, and it seems like these autonomous options are more difficult. But actually, after we talk about the social ones, I feel these are even more challenging. And also we have to train the people how to do team teach and peer observation. It goes really, really badly if we don't give them this kind of training beforehand.
That's a good point. I think we should focus more teacher training on how to conduct a peer observation, and we should have more teacher training on how to run team teaching. So that the teacher training now should focus on how we can help teachers learn after they leave the training. The training should concentrate on giving teachers tools which they can take away and use to learn.
It's about teacher autonomy, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
So I think the thing with all these is that the teachers have to be motivated and go out to do it themselves, right?
Yeah, so which help us to link to our next question.
What motivates teachers to develop? Let's start with you. What's motivated you recently to take your MA course?
Because I want to become more confident and be more knowledgeable. And when I'm doing training or courses, and I can refer to some of the stuff I learned from the course and just support me to give more rationales and the background to teachers.
What about for the teachers that you train?
I think the common one, some people want to work in certain positions in the future or with certain organizations. They need such and such qualifications. I think that's the very common one.
They want to leave their current job.
Which is not a bad thing, because they want to, I don't know, maybe something they want to pursue for the next few years.
Yeah.
And for other teachers, maybe they don't know what they want to do, so they're happy about where they are. That's why they're not that motivated to do something extra.
What do you think about that? Should we do something with those people, or should we force them to come to training?
To be honest, I think sometimes we may need to, not force, maybe schedule something for them on a regular basis rather than just nothing there, and give them the complete control. You don't have to do this. There is a program, so they have to maybe complete certain trainings within, I don't know, maybe 3 or 6 months.
I know for some teachers in public school in America that I've met, they've said that every year they have to undertake something like 20 hours of accredited training every year to keep their teaching license. But
I see. Okay, so they have to.
if you don't do that, then you lose your accreditation. But for me, there's a quote from Andy Curtis, and he says something like, we can't force teachers to develop, and that if we as teachers are forced to develop, then we should fake our own development. So I think there's two sides to it. Like, obviously, it's good to expose people to training and give them options, but just forcing people to go to 10 or 20 hours of training a year, if they're not motivated, is it going to change anything?
Well, I agree with you. I don't think training should be forced and then just give it to the teachers and you have to do it. And also people prefer to learn or to develop in different ways, right? Like learning. It's interesting that when you are doing face-to-face training, you can see some teachers are so motivated and they want to contribute or do demonstrations, presentations in front of everyone.
Yeah.
But some teachers just kept quiet. But it doesn't mean they didn't learn anything.
Yeah, I'm just reading an article about introverts, and it was saying often we think, oh, these students or these trainees, they're so motivated to learn because they're always talking. And these people don't seem very interested because they're not answering questions. But well, maybe they're just introverts or extroverts, and that introverts don't like speaking in front of other people.
Yeah.
So we make all these conclusions more based on people's behavior, but maybe it's actually down to their personality as opposed to their motivation. For me, an extrinsic motivation is really important. At the end, sometimes of the practical block on the diploma, people come up to me and they'll say, oh, I learned more in the last 2 weeks than I learned in the last 3 years. And you think, we didn't do anything. We just gave you 10 minutes of feedback after a class, which is nothing.
Motivated to pass
but they're so motivated, right? That every word that you say, they're going to get so much value out of it. And to me, it's a little bit like, if you've ever seen MasterChef, it's a cooking show. And on this cooking show, they try and win like $1 million or $250,000 and they get their own cookbook and everything. And the chefs on the show give them very, very little feedback. I mean, it's like 1 minute feedback if they're lucky. And a lot of it is very, very, very critical. But at the end of the show, people say things like, you guys, you're the best teachers I ever had. Wow. I learned so much from you. And I think it's the same thing. What it provides is all this extrinsic motivation and people want to do so well. But I found when I was a director of studies and you'd go and observe someone's class and you talk to them afterwards for half an hour, no one ever said, oh, thank you so much, right? Because there was no extrinsic motivation for them. People didn't want to learn. So for me, that's this other thing about choice. If you chose to be there, if someone comes up to you and says, oh, can you please observe this class and give me feedback on it? Or you give people the choice of what training they want to observe, or you give them a choice of who they do peer observation with, and people will want to get more out of it than if you take away that autonomy and take away that choice.
Yeah. What can we do as a manager or a trainer to motivate the teachers who are not that motivated? Because I think that's really challenging. Some teachers, they're okay. They don't have any complaints. It won't affect their getting their salaries. And they don't want to go anywhere. They're happy with where they were.
I think it depends on what else is going on in someone's life, right? If you've just had a baby or you don't have enough money and you're having to work a part-time job to get by, then you're not going to go, oh, I really want to study this course. And I think you have to accept that people at different times have different motivations. So we see a lot for new teachers, I find, are always highly motivated, because if you're a brand new teacher, you've made the choice to take on this new career, so you're motivated to learn. But maybe if you've been teaching for 2 years and you just had a kid or something, then not everyone wants to develop all the time. And you can't expect everyone to be getting better every day. But people, I think, will go through these phases where they'll be more motivated or less motivated. And you have to accept that.
While being a trainer and also used to be a manager, I think, I don't know if it's a mistake or something, maybe just wrong expectations, because really want everybody to get better and develop all the time. Day. But like you said, sometimes in people's life and for that stage, that's not their focus.
Right, they've got other priorities.
And we should respect that, right? Okay.
Tracy, to follow up, if someone's listened this far in the podcast, what would you recommend they do going forward to make sure that they keep developing as a teacher?
There's something I did recently. I think is really, really helpful. And basically, you are making a flow chart and just look back your experience in terms of professional development and what influenced you the most and what worked the best for you. And then you can identify, oh, actually, face-to-face training did work for me or didn't work for me. And then you can keep doing it or keep trying something different. Thanks, everyone. For more podcasts, videos, and blogs, visit our website www.TEFLtraininginstitute.com.
If you've got a question or a topic you'd like us to discuss, leave us a comment.
And if you want to keep up to date with our latest content, add us on WeChat at TEFL Training Institute.
And if you enjoyed our podcast, please rate us on iTunes.